Happy Friday or Friday. Oh my gosh, we made it to day 5, step 5. So I'm so grateful that you're here and welcome, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, PowerPoint. And so today is step 5. We've talked about 5 steps. Well, today we'll talk about the 5th step, but we've already reviewed 4 steps. And today we're going to talk about, if you notice a theme, I like to do the C's, and viral contagiousness is step 5. So really how to amplify your message, your visibility to more people using these viral factors. And let me just take a moment to, I put curlers in my hair. If you haven't noticed, for those of you who have followed me for a while, this is the shortest my hair has been in decades. And it's very voluminous today. I just did it last night. So I'm getting like vintage vibes. All right. So what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about what are the triggers that make your videos go viral. And we talked about yesterday, we don't want to go viral just for the sake of going viral. That's ego driven, I think. What we want to do is ultimately go viral to make more impact, to reach more people, right? And so we're going to talk about some ways to grab the attention of your audience and keep their attention, because these are the things that are going to make YouTube show your videos to more of your audience. What I'm calling the dynamite effect, which is something that I started to notice when I started looking at all my clients, their videos and their channels, how they were growing, what I'm calling the dynamite effect. I am offering a new one-to-one mentorship program. It's something I actually just designed yesterday based on feedback that I got from my existing clients. And I'm going to share that with you all as well pretty quickly. And then action steps for today. And then Q&A time at the end, time permitting. But I will be doing a bonus Q&A tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about, let's call it the 6th step tomorrow, some bonus content as well as the bonus Q&A. And I did put a poll in there, so if you can answer it, my preference is to do it a little bit earlier, just because I designed this time at 12:30 Eastern to get my European friends, but not as many of my European friends have been able to attend live. And so it actually would benefit me to do it a little bit earlier. However, I'm going to go by what most people want. And if there's a tie or whatever, then I'll do what I feel is right. Okay, so let's dive in to step 5, which is the viral contagiousness. And by the way, so step 1 is your content. Step 2 is making sure you're consistent with posting. And we talked about the reasons why the algorithm is in your favor when you post consistently. Step 3 is taking into account leveraging your community. And step 4, we started to talk about yesterday, some of these customized tips and features and elements that can make a huge impact when you implement them. And so today we're going to dial that up, all of those different things, and take it to the next level. And what really creates that viral factor, that also accounts for your audience and the community as well. So what we want to start with is looking at, let's look at your audience, right? Because always we want to make sure, no matter what we do, whatever strategy we do, that it's always tied to your audience and your brand. So at a very core level, at a foundational level, we've started talking about this a little bit, but let's take it up to let's dial it up. So when you think about your audience, what topics or maybe formats, like for example, entertainment versus education, will pique their interest, pique their curiosity, and get them to comment and share. So on day 1, I asked you to come up with 5 topic ideas for your audience. Here we start to think about, okay, what's really going to get them talking? Where it's going to create the buzz for your audience. Trending topics are a great way to go with what already people are talking about. So I look a lot of times on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, now X, to see what are people talking about. Also, if you're on any social media feed, you're going to see trends, right? For example, right now on November 10th, we have a lot of people talking about still the Palestinian and Israeli conflict. It's been over a month that started that there was a resurgence in that. So that's still a trending topic. I'm not saying talk about that necessarily for your brand. I'm just saying that is a trending topic. One thing I latched onto a few weeks ago was all of the different celebrity memoirs. I just couldn't believe that there were so many people that were giving their memoirs and really being overly sharing, like a lot of publicity. And so I started talking about that to get a little bit more, get into that mainstream conversation. And to that point, general and mainstream topics are going to be, oh, you know what? Let me just make sure that you can hear me. Oh, thank you, Roller Girl. I appreciate that. Thank you for saying my hair is lovely. So the general and mainstream topics are usually going to get more views than the small and niche topics. Not that you can't go viral with something small and niche, because the other day I heard from a colleague who said that he went viral with a video. He's a truck driver, and he posted a video like a fast speed. I forgot what you call that, or it's an accelerated video of him parking a truck, and that got millions of views. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment, why we think that happened. But if you on day one, I talked about when we're talking about our content, let's start broad. If we want to grow fast and if we want to grow easier, we start more mainstream, more general first, and then we can niche down. Now, this is the opposite of what I'll teach as a branding strategist to build your brand and to get sales. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about growing your YouTube. So specifically, I want you to go broader first, and then as you build your brand, as you build your content and your audience and community, then you can get into more niche topics. But for now, let's start broader and cast that wider net. So if you really want to grow fast, then the easiest way to grow fast is to create content that has shock and controversy. And here's why. People either love it or they hate it. They will comment, they will engage, and they will share. And the actual definition, in past, I've done topics on how to go viral with your video. I did an entire challenge just on that. And I put the definition of viral, and a lot of it is like the fact that people share it so much that then it kind of gets out of control, right? That's what makes it so viral and contagious, is that people are sharing it. And so what is it that people are going to share? And think about your audience, your niche, and your topic. So let's say, and let me just say a disclaimer here. I do not like shock and controversy. I'm a people pleaser. However, I've sometimes posted content I thought was super wholesome and clean and great, but unbeknownst to me, there was controversy with it. And those videos did really well. And I got a lot of comments on it. So that's what I'm talking about here. You can do it knowingly or unintentionally. So just keep this in mind, okay? So instead of controversial, I like the word provocative. You can provoke your audience with content that maybe is a little bit controversial, but you can relate it to your audience. Strong opinions on news and events get more engagement. So let's just talk about the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. Whatever side you're on, or if you're not on a side, or wherever you're at on that spectrum, notice that the people that have the strongest opinions are going to have more comments on their posts. Why? Because those strong opinions are either going to get strong agreement, or they're going to have strong disagreement. So that's just an example, but you can apply it to whatever is relatable to your business. Controversial and polarizing public figures. I posted a couple of different content pieces for my other true crime channel on the Maui wildfires. And just because I mentioned that President Biden went to Maui, that alone, there was no political undertone at all. Just because I mentioned President Biden, I got a ton of comments on my videos. I also mentioned that The Rock and Oprah were creating a fund to support the Maui victims. I thought that was a wholesome topic. Nope. I got lots of controversial comments in my on my posts. But you see what I did? At first I was shocked. I was like, whoa, there was a lot of backlash. But then I took that to the next level, and then I turned that into a conversation intentionally. So I unintentionally got a lot of engagement and comments and shares, but then I turned that into an intentional piece, and I created more content in that area, and that got me more views, more subscribers, and more engagement. Now, here's another thing. It doesn't have to be necessarily controversy. It could be something that's seen as outrageous or bold or risky. I've mentioned this before. If you've seen some of my videos, I'll say that sometimes things like pranks do so well on social media. And I'm not I don't do pranks, so that's not my brand, and I probably will never do it. But whenever there's a prank, people want to see, I don't know what it is, but people want to see it. And that usually gets a lot of attention. Now, here's the caveat to all of this. My pro tip. It must align with your audience and your brand, because it doesn't necessarily help you overall in the long run if you post something that's not in alignment with your audience and brand. Maybe you get thousands of subscribers, but then you post other content and there's a disconnect there, and people will unsubscribe from your channel. So I always say we want to choose an angle that fits with your audience. So as an example, when I mentioned that I was covering the memoirs, the celebrity memoirs, I took the angle of publicity do's and don'ts. So I didn't want to talk about, my brand is not about talking about celebrities, but I know that celebrities have that general mainstream interest in the audience. I'm going to get more people. And I tied it to publicity and visibility do's and don'ts. So what were they doing right and wrong? And that got me attention for those posts. So I tied it into what I'm already doing. So any subscribers or followers I get on that content are subscribers that are going to be interested in my other content as well. Now, here's an example of, this is my client, and she posted a video. She's a dance instructor, and she posted a video of herself doing this belly dance routine when she was 9 months pregnant. And to date, she has 5.2 million views on that video. It's her most viral video. And we talked about it, and she said very similar words. She said something like, I think it's because it was shocking to people. So this is not, I would not call it necessarily controversial, although some people might think you shouldn't be dancing while you're pregnant, right? So maybe there's a little controversy there. Many people think it's beautiful. Some people didn't think it's so beautiful. And so she'll get mostly positive comments, but most people are in awe, if anything, right? So that awe there's like a shock to it. Like, what? She's dancing pregnant. I mean, that's an example of what I'm talking about, shocking, which could be a good thing, right? Now, remember I mentioned the truck driver went viral with his video? It's because, and I don't have an example here, and I've been meaning to take a screenshot of it and show it. It's because he is backing up. He's parking. He's not just parking it. He's backing up, parking this huge semi truck, and it's And he's doing it in traffic. And like I said, it's a sped up video. So that's not necessarily something I would be personally interested in truck driving, but it went viral because it's shocking the way that he did it. And I'll try to see if I can find it and post a link to it so that we can learn, right? Because I want to see, like, I like to see what's working and get those learning lessons from that. So we're going to want to start with a strong hook. And I use the photo here of clickbait because clickbait actually is neutral. Clickbait is not a bad thing. I'm going to show you some ways that you can bait, let's say, bait the audience to be interested in your content. What makes the bad clickbait is when people do it to get people to click, but the content is not the same as what they're getting people to click on. As long as your quote unquote clickbait gets you to the video or the content that's promised, you're fine, you're good. But we want to grab that attention quickly because that's going to get people to watch it. And nowadays you have less than 3 seconds to get their attention. In some cases, you have less than 1 second. You have a split second to get their attention. So these are little things that can get you quickly to have people interested in your content. So some examples. On YouTube, absolutely the most important is a catchy headline. You must have a catchy headline, which is why I suggested yesterday, if you tweak your headline, it could actually get you back into the algorithm and get you more visibility for your videos. A provocative thumbnail. Now, I'm not saying provocative in a bad way, right? I'm talking about something that's catchy, that grabs the attention, right? Mr. Beast is a master. If you don't know who Mr. Beast is, go follow him. He spends thousands of dollars on just one thumbnail, each thumbnail. And he gets hundreds of millions of views on his videos. I think I heard him, the last quote, and don't quote me on this, but I think it was something like he spends $10,000 on a thumbnail. And that might be because he creates a few different ones and he really wants to make sure he nails a thumbnail. Now, if you do a short, like if you create a short or any video, if you have text on the screen, could really help to draw in your audience. Now, remember I mentioned as long as the clickbait delivers on the promise. So that's what you want to have, a promise. Like you can start with a question that could maybe get people pique their interest, and then your video answers the question. You can say something like, you can give a one-liner, kind of like sort of like a headline, something that's just going to grab that attention quickly and keep their interest. And then this is especially good for shorts. You can add trending music, you can add trending filters, themes. A lot of times things that work really well on TikTok, which is sort of known as being like a trendsetter as far as short videos. A lot of times if you use those types of themes, people will watch them because they already know, they're already well known, they're already more mainstream, and people might watch it because of that. So again, you want to start with that strong hook. Now here's the thing. Once you hook them, then you've got to keep them. So you might get a lot of views because you hook them, so to speak. Now our audience are not fish, but you get the idea. This is all metaphor. And then you want to keep the fish, right? So to speak. The higher the view duration, meaning the percentage that they watch your video, the more likely YouTube is going to push out that video to more people in your audience. And so you definitely want to make sure that you include some of these things we're going to talk about. So you hook them and then you want to keep their attention. So after grabbing their attention, you must keep their attention. So some ways that you can do that is by continuing to have text on your screen. Like let's say if I'm doing a video where I'm saying like the 5 tips for something, I'll usually say like tip number 1, and I'll put in text what the tip number 1 is. Number 2, and I'll put the tip there in text. And that's a way that continues to keep their attention. Captions and subtitles, whenever you can include them, have statistically been shown to help improve your keeping the attention on your videos. Music, it could be mood music in the background, or it could be a trending song. So whatever works for you. Now, keep in mind one thing, and I haven't really gone into this too much, but if you have music that's copyrighted, then that content might have less monetization later when you get your channel monetized. So we always have to be mindful of that. For sure, if you have copyright-free music, there won't be a problem. When you're doing a longer video, actually any video, you want to make sure, if possible, this will help you get more engagement, is to have changes in scenes. So for example, let's say if I'm doing this video where I'm just speaking for 5 minutes, I'll add photos in between or B-roll video every 30 seconds to keep their attention, to keep the attention. Now, here's the thing. The other thing is asking them to comment. You know, when you're during the video, you can be asking them, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. You can be saying things like that to get them already thinking that there's going to be engagement, that you're asking them for engagement. And here's another thing that's really easy to do is you can say something like, you add a teaser. You say, wait for it, or wait till the end, or watch until the end because I'm going to give you a really great tip about XYZ. I do that a lot for my masterclasses and webinars, is I'll offer like my best tip at the end to make sure that everyone watches until the end. And it's a great way to get their attention and keep their attention and keep their engagement. So you want to hook them and then you want to keep them. Now, here's the thing. I have found that even with all of this stuff that I've been teaching for the last 5 days, there's something that I've noticed, and I'm calling it the dynamite effect. Now, if you remember, or if you know dynamite at all, or what it is, there's a fuse. There's usually like a long fuse. And you light the fuse. Let's call that the spark, right? By posting today. And then you continue to post and you have consistency in posting. And one day, and that one day could be in a week, or it could be in 6 months, or it could be in a year. Something's gonna trigger the algorithm, and your channel or your video is gonna blow up. Like it's gonna explode. And that's what I'm calling the dynamite effect. And I don't know for sure, because remember, YouTube doesn't share its algorithm. That's proprietary information. But I believe it's because YouTube awards loyalty. And I've noticed that there's a dynamite effect on videos and channels before they skyrocket. So here's an example of a client's video that went viral. And if you notice, you see it's kind of like flatline here, with some kind of tiny little peaks. And all of a sudden, in one day, it went up to 200,000, and then at 3 and 5, and it climbed to 1 million and more. And that was a year and a half after posting. The video went viral. So if your videos haven't gotten a lot of views today or tomorrow, or after making those tweaks that I suggested yesterday, do not despair. It's possible that it could blow up in a week or a month or a year. And what's cool is that videos like this one continue to get a lot of views. Like they just keep growing and growing. Now here's another example. This is for the channel. This was the analytics for just one video. This is the analytics for the entire channel. So all the views that they got from the channel. So they posted over here in April, and they posted in May. And then all of a sudden they get a couple of little peaks over here. And then one day in July, 3 months later, they get this huge bump. And I'm calling that the dynamite effect on a channel. And without even posting that much more, their channel they upgraded. So they were getting like this low number of views, and all of a sudden the dynamite effect on their channel. And then it kept up a consistently higher number of views for their channel. And so I just wanted to, hopefully this gives you hope that if you're not getting the views today or tomorrow, just keep working at it. And that consistency, and I'm convinced that it's because the algorithm favors consistency and it rewards loyalty. YouTube wants you to be on their channel posting, okay? And like I've said before, if nothing else, shock the algorithm by posting today. So if you haven't posted or you're worried or whatever it is, just post. You're going to, it's like a defibrillator, right? It's going to shock the algorithm. It's going to shock the system, and YouTube's going to be like, oh, this person's posting. So just post wherever you're at, whatever you've done in the past, forget about it. Just post and continue to post, okay? So let's do a real quick assessment, and I'm just taking a time check here, and I'm going to run by this really quick. Where do you stand now with your monetization? And how close are you to being eligible? What strategies have you tried this week that have worked and have not worked? So this is kind of like your self-assessment. You can think through that. And I promised that I was going to share quickly about my one-to-one monetization mentorship. But for those of you who are interested in a more one-to-one customized support, I actually developed this program because I was doing the 30-day programs, and every one of my clients asked me to continue working with them. And so I realized that 30 days is not enough. So I developed a 90-day mentorship. And so we're going to start with a one-to-one training assessment to understand where you're at and how close you are to monetization. Many of my clients are clueless where they're at. They have no idea. And I teach them how to learn about their analytics and all of that back end piece to see where they're at. We're going to do 2 times a month strategy session. So we're going to get on the call or a Zoom call, and I'm going to help you create a plan for weekly and monthly for those 3 months. We're going to do 3 times a week accountability check-ins. So 3 times a week, and we'll decide on the schedule based on, we'll talk that through. Just kind of giving you ideas, asking you, like one of my clients today, I reached out to her and I said, why are your videos private? She had no idea that her videos were not being shown. These are the types of things that are going to help you grow when you have another set of eyes and ears, an expert, eyes and ears, helping you while you're creating content and while you're growing your channel. And because I'm a branding expert as well, I'm going to always make sure that we're keeping you consistent in alignment with your brand and your audience, and tips and ideas to improve your content, and of course, viral strategies to help you get closer to monetization. So that's the 90-day mentorship program, where you're going to get the one-to-one customized training session with me at the beginning, a written recommendations plan and report, 2 times a month we're going to meet, 3 times a week accountability, unlimited email questions, which is a huge bonus, I know, for a lot of us that have a lot of questions. And this is a $3,000 program, but I'm offering a special challenge price. And you can go to alexanderfigueredo.com/YouTube, and I'll pop in the link here now in a second. And because I know a lot of us have the holidays coming up and are paying for a bunch of things and maybe going on vacation and holiday presents, this was actually a suggestion that one of my clients gave me, and I love the idea. For the fee of for basically the same price that I'm charging for the one-to-one training session, I'll allow you to hold your spot, and that way we can begin the 90-day program in January. So for a low fee, you can hold the spot for this pricing, because this is definitely just a promotional pricing now for this challenge. And we can start the one-to-one training in January. So that is alexanderfigueredo.com/YouTube. And I have the 2 payment options there. Okay, so with that, let's go over the action steps for today. What I want you to do is, oh, wow, I'm right on time. What are 3 trending topics that you can apply to your niche and audience? What are 3 topics that are shocking or controversial for your niche and industry? And a bonus, if you actually create a video that incorporates a trending topic or shock and controversy, make sure to post a link and we'll all be able to engage with each other. And of course, if there were, like I know Kathleen just mentioned that she wasn't able to watch the previous days. And yes, I do have the replays are up currently. And I'm going to actually send an email where I'm going to just have all of the days in case you missed one, all the links to that. But they're actually right on my website, right on my YouTube page, on my homepage. You can find them there as well. So while I put in the link here, I would love to know, what was your biggest takeaway from today? So what was your biggest takeaway from today? And just a reminder, oh, you know what? I just realized. Did you also post in the comments if you'd prefer to start it, this is for Saturday tomorrow, if you would prefer to do this session earlier, like at 10 or 11 Eastern? My preference would be as early as possible, but you let me know if this time works or if you'd like it later. And then we'll wrap in just a minute. Various ways for a strong hook. Yeah. Okay. Actually, it's hard for me to see what is the. I see that there is on the poll, but I can't quite see it. So let's see. Oh, same time, 100% so far. Okay, well, that's good to know. Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you. And thank you for trusting me with helping you grow your YouTube channel. And I know this is just a start, right? Like I said, consistency is so important. And so just shock that algorithm, right? Just get into the system and that will start I think a domino effect. That's another good way to say it, a domino effect that might get the ball rolling today, next week, or maybe a month or more from now. But just get in there. Just shock that algorithm. All right. So we will do our Q&A with a bonus content tomorrow on a great monetization tip. I'll call it step number 6. And I can't wait to talk to you then. If you have any questions, but you're not able to attend tomorrow, post it in the comments of this video. Just say like Q and what your question is, and I'll make sure to include that in the Q&A tomorrow. All right, everyone, have a blessed rest of your Friday. If I don't see you tomorrow, have a wonderful weekend, and you'll be able to see the replay. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye.